Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to episode 36 of the Be Great podcast. It's a beautiful Friday afternoon as I'm recording this. Gonna upload it once I'm finished. Right now, we got Florida and Tulane playing. Florida has a 3-0 lead at the start of the second quarter, but they are driving down the field. I think Florida will end up winning that football game today. But tonight, we got the start of the college football playoff. And tomorrow, we have the continuation of the college football playoff. I'm super stoked. It's so interesting. And it's a weird feeling having important college football games this late in December. I mean, literally 5 days before Christmas, and we're getting a playoff game. I mean, it's a weird feeling, but I'm super stoked. I'm super excited to watch Indiana Notre Dame tonight, even though I think it's the one that I'm worried about the most as far as games that will end up being a blowout. But I digress. Now, we got some transfer portal stuff that we need to get into, so we'll get into that first before I get into the Notre Dame Indiana matchup and the rest of this bowl schedule going on this weekend. J. Michael Sturdivant, I think that's how you say his name, wide receiver out of UCLA, transferring to Florida. That was a guy that Georgia was kind of targeting. Georgia's targeted a bunch of wide receivers. It's hard to say which ones they want the most, and I mean, I can kind of figure which one they want the most. They really want Dane Key out of out of Kentucky. I think that's the guy right now that they want the most. He's on a visit to Nebraska today. A lot of people are saying he should make his decision this weekend, so hopefully he ends up a Georgia Bulldog. But this is a good gift for Florida. Sturdivant is a very good wide receiver, a very good player. Deuce Robinson, wide receiver out of USC, he currently has a prediction out for Florida State. I think he was on a Florida State visit today, so it must have went well. That'd be a nice, solid pickup for Florida State. But it's hard to start talking about next season. But I think Florida State's cooked. I really do. Kendrick Law, wide receiver out of Alabama, goes to Kentucky. A little surprising, but that's a major pickup for Kentucky. That's a player that they really needed because they're losing a lot of guys. They're losing Barian Brown, losing Dane Key, so they need something to stop the bleeding at this point. The big one that's gone down since my last episode are the Branch brothers out of USC, Zachariah Branch and is it Zion Branch? Is that his name? His brother? They're going to go to the same place. I don't know if you want to call it a report. Sure. A report came out yesterday that Zachariah Branch could take a visit to Georgia in the near future. Look, Zachariah Branch is electric. I think he's absolutely phenomenal. I'm telling you right now, if Georgia ends up with Dane Key and Zachariah Branch, holy smokes. Holy smokes, would I be excited at the wide receiver position next season because you'd be talking Dane Key and Zachariah Branch, for sure starters. You're talking Nitro Tuggle. You're talking Dylan Bell. You're talking five-star Taylor Taylor who's coming in. I mean, look out. Look out. Let's see. Is there anyone? I'm looking at the recent ones right now. Clemson. I forgot to mention this on Tuesday, but Clemson's actually doing a couple things here in the portal. They got Edge out of Purdue, Will Helt, I think is how you say his name. So it's good to see Dabo. At least he's dipping his toes into the water with the transfer portal. So that's at least nice to see because he needs to do that if he expects to, be successful going on in the future, especially with a very disappointing recruiting class. Malik Murphy going to Oregon State was a surprising one. That definitely was not expecting that. I thought he would go someplace more. I don't even know what the word would be that I'm looking for. More substantial, a bigger name, a bigger program is honestly what I expected. But he's going to Oregon State, and best of luck to him for sure. Let's see. LSU quarterback A.J. Swan is transferring. That's no surprise. He's been a disappointment. Wake Forest wide receiver Horatio Field, what a name, transferring to Auburn. Let's see. And also Kentucky is getting Incarnate Word quarterback Zach Calzada. So he will probably be their starter next season, I think. A tackle that I love in the portal. I love this guy, Isaiah World from Nevada. He's going to Oregon. That's a great pickup for the Ducks. Isaiah World is a fantastic offensive tackle. I think he's a first round draft pick, personally. Let's see. Vanderbilt got Tennessee transfer corner Jordan Matthews. Let's see if any. I'm looking on On3 right now. If any sort of predictions have changed. Eric Singleton Jr. is still predicted to go to Auburn. I would assume we're going to hear that announcement soon. Let's see. Fernando Mendoza still predicted to go to Georgia. That has not changed. I'm really interested to see where Takario Davis goes. I think he's an amazing corner. Patrick Payton entered the portal, edge rusher out of Florida State. He's a solid player. It'll be interesting to see where he goes. Justice Haynes, running back from Alabama. He's predicted to go to South Carolina right now. Let's see. Patrick Kutas, interior offensive lineman of Arkansas. He went to Ole Miss. Eric Rivers, FIU wide receiver, going to Georgia Tech. That's a good get for them. I think I mentioned that one on Tuesday. Naziah Hunter, wide receiver out of Cal. He's going to Nebraska. So that's a good pickup for Nebraska. Malachi Fields, wide receiver out of Virginia, predicted to go to Notre Dame. Ethan O'Connor, corner from Washington State, still predicted to go to Georgia. Yeah, those are guys in the top 50. As far as bowl games, let me just do some picks here real quick. So I'm going to pick the first round. You should know what my first round picks are because I talked about it on Tuesday. I gave my full prediction. But in case you missed it, I predict Notre Dame to beat Indiana, Penn State to beat SMU, Texas to beat Clemson, and Tennessee to beat Ohio State. I simply do not believe that Ryan Day can win a big game at this point when it really matters. He's going to have to prove to me that he can win a big game when it matters. And look, Ryan Day is easily under the most pressure specifically for this first round. Because I think if he loses tomorrow night to Tennessee, I think he might be fired. I really do. I find it hard to believe that Ohio State would want to bring him back. Yeah, and I don't care how much his buyout is. We've seen massive buyouts, and it seemingly doesn't matter. If you want to get rid of him bad enough, you can get rid of him. But as far as the game tonight, it might be snowing. I know it's going to be freezing cold, but that shouldn't matter. I mean, both these teams are located in Indiana. And I just simply think that Notre Dame's defense is too good for Indiana. That Notre Dame run game is really good. And I just don't think Indiana is going to be able to score enough to keep up with Notre Dame. And I think that's going to be the dagger. Penn State SMU, I think it being at Penn State in a wideout, I just don't think SMU will be ready for the moment, and I just don't think, quite simply, I just don't think they're good enough. I think Clemson, this is my kind of hot take for the first round. I think that Clemson-Texas game is going to be close. I think Texas will win because they are simply better, and sometimes that's all that matters. And but look, I think this Clemson team can absolutely keep this game within 2 touchdowns. I absolutely think they can, even though a lot of people for some reason think Clemson's going to get blown out. And Tennessee, Ohio State, I think could be an absolute classic. I really do. I could see this game being a defensive battle. I could see this game being high scoring. I could see either, to be honest. So I'm really excited for that Tennessee, Ohio State matchup tomorrow night. On Monday next week, you have Coastal Carolina versus UTSA. I'll tell you what, this irks me every year with bowl games. I don't really know who to pick for some of these because with the transfer portal, you don't know who's playing for these teams. You know what I'm saying? Like, how many of these Coastal Carolina guys have transferred? How many of these UTSA guys have transferred? But give me UTSA, I guess. Northern Illinois, Fresno State. Give me Fresno State. South Florida versus San Jose State on Christmas Eve. Give me South Florida. It's in Hawaii. What a place to be on Christmas Eve, huh? Hawaii. The day after Christmas, Pitt versus Toledo. Give me Pitt. Rutgers versus Kansas State. Give me Kansas State. I think they're just better than Rutgers. Arkansas State versus Bowling Green. Whoop-de-doo. The 68 Ventures Bowl. Well, you can't spell Bowling Green without bowl. So give me Bowling Green. I think that's good logic. As far as my schedule next week, because of Christmas and all that, it's hard to say. I think what I'm going to end up doing, I think I'm going to have a episode 37. This is episode 36, obviously. Episode 37, I think I'm going to have come out on, I'm going to record it and upload it on Monday. And then I will get another episode out on next Friday. I think that's what we'll do. Either Thursday, it'll be either Thursday or Friday, one of the two. It might end up being Thursday. If it's not Thursday, you can expect it Friday. But yeah, I think that's going to be my game plan there. And then I'll talk about the week after that when we get to it. I just kind of just rolled through that, didn't I? Because there isn't much to really talk about because at this point, I'm just excited to get to the games. I really am. I'm just excited to see how the first 12-team playoff goes because it's really important that these first round games are competitive, right? Like Clemson, SMU, Indiana, they don't need to win, but they need to be competitive. They can't all three lose by 30 points. That will give the playoff and this sport a horrible look. A horrible look. So they don't necessarily have to win, but please be competitive going into the fourth quarter. All right, don't be down 20 at halftime. Please, I beg, be competitive. And I think we will see competitive matchups. I think we could see maybe one blowout and the other three be competitive. I could 100% see that. And if that's going to happen, I think the one blowout would be this game tonight, which it sucks that this one's first because it kind of sets the stage and sets the standard, but it is what it is. We also got news that Carson Beck likely out for the Sugar Bowl, which I kind of told you, and we all kind of expected that. And he is most likely out for the entirety of the playoffs, which, again, I kind of just expected that. And I'm perfectly okay with that. It's not like Carson was lighting the world on fire anyways. And at least Gunner's mobile. At least there's that. But we will see. I will say you cannot spell sugar without UGA. Just remember that. As far as myself, a Georgia fan, who would I rather win? Well, I would rather Indiana win tonight because I think they're the worst team, or they're not. Out of the two, they're the one that I'd be more comfortable playing because I think Georgia would whoop Indiana. And to clarify, I don't think Georgia would lose to Notre Dame. I like this matchup either way for Georgia. I really do. I think Georgia got a good draw. I'm not worried about Indiana, and I'm not worried about Notre Dame. I think Notre Dame pulls out the win tonight, obviously. But would it shock me if Indiana won? It would not shock me at all. As a matter of fact, I'll be rooting for Indiana tonight. I can't stand Notre Dame. I love Kurt Signetti. I like the Hoosiers. And I think Georgia would absolutely kill them. So that's how I feel about it. But, and by the way, I'm going to go ahead and this has absolutely nothing to do with the playoffs or with really anything, but I kind of just got this feeling about something, and I just want to say it out there. It has nothing to do with any team even in the playoff. It has to do with a team that didn't make the conference championship, didn't make up the playoffs, did make a bowl game, but a team that had a disappointing year that I kind of just randomly yesterday just got this feeling about them, and I had to have this take that I just have to get out there, at least so I can. Well, this could backfire that I'm recording my take this early, because if it hits, I look like a genius. If it doesn't, I'm a maniac, but that's okay. The take has to do with the LSU Tigers. I'm going to say this. I love what I'm seeing LSU do in the portal, mixed with the fact that they're bringing back Garrett Nussmeier. I'm going to go ahead and make this prediction right now. I don't know if LSU wins the national championship. I don't know if they make the SEC championship, but I'm going to go ahead and set you a guarantee right now. LSU is going to make the college football playoff next season. Okay? That's what I can guarantee you, is that they are going to make the college football playoff next season. I feel very confident in that prediction. You look at what they have done in the transfer portal. Let me just pull up them specifically real quick. Let's go to teams. SEC, LSU. Look at what they've brought in. They've brought in 2 starting experienced wide receivers in Barian Brown and Nick Anderson. They're 2 different types of guys, right? Barian Brown is the speed guy, right? I mean, he's 6'1". Nick Anderson, 6'3". He's a big body type of guy. I think both of those wide receivers I think that instantly makes LSU's wide receiver room better than it was last year. Plus, if they bring back Kyron Lacey, I don't know if he's declared for the draft or if he's already announced he's coming back. I'm not sure. But, I mean, just imagine Kyron Lacey, Nick Anderson, Barian Brown. That is an amazing wide receiver trio. Amazing. Plus, you bring in Mansour Delane and Jakeem Jackson into your corner room, okay, on a defense that struggled mightily 2 years ago, and last year was better but still struggled. So you bring in 2 corners to that cornerback room. Mansour Delane, who has experience, he should be an instant starter. I think he's an amazing player, as I have stated on here. Bauer Sharp will instantly start at tight end, replacing Mason Taylor, who's going to the draft. Jack Pyburn will be an instant starter at edge. He is a psychotic maniac from Florida. Michael Van Buren, immediate backup to Nussmeier that you can trust because at least he has games under his belt. He played games as a true freshman for Mississippi State. And then you have Destin Hill to just add to that wide receiver room. Jamari Butler to add to that edge room. You brought in a punter from Middle Tennessee. You brought in a defensive lineman from Texas. Again, to just add some depth as well. I love what they've done. And here's the thing. LSU had a rough go at it with recruiting. They lost Bryce Underwood. But they were able to keep DJ Pickett, who could be an instant starter at corner. I don't know. They'll have to see, got to get a feel for him at practice and the spring game and all that stuff to see if he even starts. But the corner room is significantly improved. The wide receiver room is significantly improved. You got a solid starting tight end. Your offensive line will be – you're losing some guys. But again, they're probably not done in the portal. But you are losing Will Campbell and Emory Jones Jr. That will hurt. But at least you have that experienced quarterback, and you're improving at wide receiver. You're improving at edge with Pyburn. You're improving at wide receiver. I like what they are doing, and they're probably not done. LSU's been going crazy in the portal, so they're probably not done with moves. And I just have this feeling inside me that LSU will make the playoff next year. I don't know if they make the SEC championship or anything like that, or how far they go in the playoffs, but I am making this guarantee right now in December of 2024 that come this time next year, LSU will be in the playoffs. I can guarantee it. I hope everyone has a tremendous day. Go out, have a great Friday, great weekend. Enjoy some college football, enjoy some NFL football, and yeah, just have a great day and go Dogs.